Hi guys, I'm here today to give you guys another workout. So today for the workout, all you need is a mat or a big beach towel, and then I also have 2 cans of beans. So we're gonna try and use just some household items in order to get this workout in. So hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get ready. So I just have 2 cans of garbanzo beans. You could use any type of beans, or instead of cans, you could always use water bottles, wine bottles, kind of whatever you have at home. So for this, I'm going to start with my feet about hip distance apart, and my feet are going to be all the way down into the mat. So I want to feel grounded through each of my toes as well as my heels. And then my feet are about hip distance apart. And I'm going to start with the cans in front of me, just kind of warming up through my legs here. So I'm going to squat down, reach my arms up to about shoulder level, and then I'm going to come all the way up. And then again, I'm sitting my hips back, and then I'm going to exhale and come up. And I'm just going to keep going here. So as you're doing this note that your knees are just kind of going up and down or forward and back versus in and out. Your hips are going up and down as you're doing your squats here. Good, we'll do 2 more like this. And 1 more. Good, and then next time you sit back, go ahead and keep sitting back. And then with your arms, just start doing little circles. Good, and then switch directions of your circles. And then keep your arms reaching forward, come all the way up tall. I'm gonna bring my heels together and toes apart. And actually I'm gonna turn to the side so that you can see me from the side here. So I have my feet not all the way turned out, but about halfway. So let's say they're aiming at about like 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, somewhere around there. And then now I'm gonna bring my arms a little more out at an angle from here. So I'm gonna sit my hips back, reach my arms out to about 45 degrees on both sides, and then I'm going to come all the way up. Good, so warming up with some footwork here, like we would do in a Pilates class on a reformer. And just adding in some weights or cans into your arms. And then as you're doing just this, think about your shoulders staying glued into your shoulder sockets. And we'll do 3 and 2. And then on this next one, you're gonna stay down. I'm gonna keep my heels glued together. I'm gonna lift my heels up, and I'm gonna lower my heels down. And again, I'm gonna lift my heels up and lower my heels down. Let's do 3 more like this. Good, trying to keep my heels touching. 2. And 1. I'm going to lower my heels, stay here. I'm going to turn my palms up towards the ceiling. And I'm going to do little circles here. So tiny circles, maybe the size of a tennis ball. And again, trying to keep my shoulders glued back towards one another. And then I'm going to switch directions of my circles. And then I'm going to lower my arms, and I'm going to come all the way up. So from here, let's keep using one of the cans of beans. I'm just going to place the other one over to the side. And then the 1 can of beans, you're going to place on the floor, so it can kind of, let's say, roll forward and back will do. And just try and keep it in one spot. And then you're going to plant one foot onto the mat, and you're going to bring the opposite foot onto the can of beans. So you're going to try to keep the can from moving. Your arms could go anywhere that they're comfortable, so whether it's on your hips, maybe out to a T, maybe just long at your sides. And you're going to keep the can from moving, and you're going to lift the grounded heel up towards the ceiling, and you're going to lower that heel down. So let me turn to the side as you keep going here, so you can see a little bit more what I'm doing. So I'm lifting my heel up, and then I'm lowering my heel down. So the leg that's on the can is just gently resting on top of the can. And then the leg that's on the floor is the one that's doing the work and coming up. So what's nice about this is you really do want more of the effort to come from the leg that you're standing on. But if you do need assistance from your other leg to help you come up, you can always gently push into that leg. So what's nice about a can is it's pretty sturdy, so I can put a little bit of pressure on it. If you were using glass or plastic, I would say maybe avoid putting much pressure through it. Good, we'll do 2 more. And 1 more. Good, now I'm going to stay doing this leg. I'm going to bring the can over to the right side. I'm going to take the other can, I'm going to bring it behind me. So I'm kind of standing with my cans at an angle. I'm going to stay on that foot that I was already standing on. This time I'm going to bring my hands to my hips because that's where I like them. And then I'm going to reach my leg out, tap 1 can, and then bring it back up. And then I'm going to reach my leg back, tap the can, and then bring my leg up. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying not to look at the can, and I'm trying to use my proprioception, or my sense of awareness, to find where the can is as I'm balancing on the standing leg. I'm gonna slide that one so it's more in reach. Yeah, there you go. Good, and reach your leg up. Keep alternating here. It's going back, tap, leg comes up, go out, tap, leg comes up. Good, let's say 1 more each direction. And then reaching back. Good, and then land that leg down. So I already kind of feel some work in my standing leg. So again, I'm gonna place 1 can aside. I'm just gonna start with the 1 leg. So the one that I was already standing on, I'm gonna bring that one up to the can. My legs are about parallel from one another here. And again, I'm trying to keep the can from moving. And I'm just gonna come up onto the ball of my right foot. So for you, that's the one facing the camera. And I'm gonna lower that heel down. And again, I'm gonna lift that heel up, trying not to put too much pressure through the leg that's on the can. And then mostly having pressure coming through the leg that's on the floor. And then I'm trying to also make sure that my body's going straight up towards the ceiling versus going forward and up. So I'm going straight up and lower and down. Good, and you'll notice that the leg that's on the can is just the knee's gonna extend and bend on its own, just kind of going for the ride. You might feel like it's a little harder or easier on one side. This side definitely feels like it's a little tougher for me. And I'm just gonna do 1 more here. Whoop, and then I'm gonna come down. Okay, so now we're gonna arrange our cans. So we have 1 out, and then 1 back. And again, I might kind of maneuver these as I'm doing it to see if they're in a place that I could reach. I'm gonna kind of stand in between that. So I have like a little triangle here with my standing leg and the cans. And I'm gonna stay on my standing leg, bring my opposite leg up. Whoop, I'm gonna reach my leg out. Definitely more unbalanced on this side. And then bring my leg up. I'm gonna reach my leg back. And then I'm gonna bring my leg up. And again, I'm just tapping out and up. And then back. It's always this back one for me, and up. There you go. And again, if you have to look down, you're welcome to look down. We're kind of using them as cones right now. And I'm trying to keep my hips leveled, so I'm not trying to let one hip drop as I do this. I'm trying to keep both of them aligned. So that's why I like the feedback of my arms on my hips. There you go. Because it allows me to feel if one arm or hand is below the other. Good, we'll do 2 more each way. And then this is my last one to the left. And this is gonna be my, almost there, good, last one back. I'm gonna lower my leg down. So from here, go ahead and grab both of your hands and then reach, come to the top of your mat, reach your arms forward, and then as slow as you can, you're gonna lower all the way down. Good, and your arms forward kind of gives you some counterbalance, and then you're gonna land all the way onto the floor. So if you need to put your hands down, for that, you're welcome to put your arms down and just get down any way that feels most comfortable. So I'm gonna bring myself back onto the mat a little bit more, and then I'm gonna reach my arms forward, and then I'm gonna slowly roll down to the mat, one bone after the next. So we're gonna stay on our back for a little bit here. So I'm gonna keep my knees bent, and then I want my pelvis to be in a neutral position. So I'm not tucking too much, I'm not sticking my tailbone out too much. I'm just kind of resting it in between those 2 spots. And then I'm gonna reach my arms straight up towards the ceiling and allow my arms to go out wide. So as I'm doing this, my shoulder blades are kind of coming in towards my spine, and then I'm gonna reach my arms up. And then I'm gonna allow my arms to go out wide. And I'm not allowing them to come all the way to the mat or the floor. I'm allowing them to just kind of hover. So I never really get that point to rest my arms. Inhale as I open, I'm gonna exhale to pull in. Good, we'll go for 4 more. And I'm really trying to push into the resistance of the cans. I'm not just trying to fly my arms out and fly my arms up. I'm really taking my time to feel the resistance kind of build up and then feel myself push into it. And I'll do 1 more like this. And I'm gonna reach my arms up towards the ceiling, hold them there. Turn your palms to face towards your thighs. And then my arms are about shoulder distance apart, maybe a little bit wider. And then I'm gonna lower my arms down, almost to the mat. And then I'm gonna bring my arms up towards the ceiling. So as I'm doing this, try not to allow your wrists to kind of fall into extension or fall into flexion. I'm really keeping my wrists in a neutral position, so I'm trying not to have a break at my wrist joint. And same thing here, I'm just kind of feeling the resistance build up, and then I'm feeling the resistance on my way up too. Good, I'm gonna go for 3 more. And 2 more. Good, and then next time my arms are down by my hips, I'm gonna keep them there. Good, and from here I'm gonna do little circles. Again, maybe the size of a tennis ball. Just allowing my shoulder to do the work here. So I'm feeling my humerus, or my upper arm bone, kind of just gliding around my shoulder socket. And then I'm going to switch directions of these circles. And I definitely also feel some effort through my forearms here too. And I'm going to pause. I'm going to turn my palms up towards the ceiling, and I'm going to do little circles here. And then I'm just going to switch directions of those circles. So again, notice my arms are just hovering above the mat. And then I'm going to turn my palms down and then rest my arms down for a moment. All right, from here I'm going to bring both of my hands or my weights up towards the ceiling. And then I'm going to keep the hands touching one another. And then I'm going to start slowly reaching my arms back. So as I'm doing this, I just want to be conscious of my ribs not lifting up. And then I'm going to reach my arms up. Good. So again, I'm keeping my arms long. I'm starting to reach my arms back. And again, not touching down, and maybe you can't go all the way, and that's okay. And then coming all the way back up. Good, now I kind of feel a nice stretch at the end, which is one of the reasons why I like doing this. Good, and I'm resisting the cans as I come up. So again, not flying through the movement by any means. And exhale up, we'll do 2 more. And 1 more. Good, from here I'm gonna reach my arms long. I'm gonna curl my head, neck, and shoulders up. And then I'm gonna reach the weights or the cans long by my hips. I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna bring my right leg up to tabletop. And then I'm gonna bring my left leg up to tabletop. And I'm gonna start pumping for my hundreds here. So I'm feeling my lower back gently pressing into the mat as I'm floating the weights up and down. Good, inhaling for 5 and exhaling for 5. And then maybe I'll extend one leg forward, and then maybe I'll extend the other leg forward. And then you could always keep your legs in tabletop. But even with your legs extended, feel your lower back gently pressing into the mat so you keep your pelvis from moving. I'll do 2 more breaths here. And 1 more breath. And I'm gonna rest all the way down, hug my knees and my garbanzo beans into my chest. And I'm gonna rock myself all the way up to sitting. Okay, from here, let's just use one of the cans. I'm gonna come onto my hands and knees. I'm gonna place the can back behind my knee. So I'm gonna keep the can behind my knee. So I'm gonna try to grip the can. So the best way that I find to kind of get into this, not that I exercise with cans all the time, but I can bring the can behind my lengthened knee, so I feel it on the back of my knee there, or my skin, and then I'm gonna bend my knee from here, and then that way I kind of feel like it's a little bit more secure. So from here, I have both hands underneath my shoulders. Find a neutral position of your spine, or whatever that means to you. And then I'm gonna lift my right knee, or the knee that's towards the camera, up, and then I'm gonna lower that down. And then again, I'm trying to keep some sort of grip into the can, and I'm trying to keep my hip from lifting up. So I really want this motion to be from extending at my hip, not so much to be from extending at my lower back. Good. Your foot could be pointed or flexed. I'll do 2 more here. And next time my knee is back, I'm gonna keep my knee back, flex my foot. I'm gonna do little pulses up towards the ceiling. Trying to keep my knee at my hip and then pulsing up from there. So I never really come into hip flexion so much here. Go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm gonna lower that leg down. Now from here, I'm gonna keep working on this leg, keep the can where it is, and then reach your right knee out to the right side, and I'm gonna lower my right knee down. So again, I'm trying to keep this motion just from my hip. I'm not gonna reach my leg all the way out and move from my back here. I'm just gonna kind of aim out, trying to keep my hips to face the mat as best I can. And for 3 more, 2 more, and I'm gonna keep my knee out, and then from here I'm gonna do little circles with my knee. Trying to, again, keep my knee lifted, but my hips more or less square. Then I'm gonna switch directions of my circles. And then keep your knee where it is, maybe lift it a little bit higher if you can, and then lower that leg down. Great, and then I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna bring the can behind my other knee. And actually, I'm gonna switch sides so I'm away from the wall. So from here, I have both hands underneath my shoulders. I'm more or less at a neutral position of my spine. Lift my left knee up, and then I'm gonna lower my left knee down. And again, I'm squeezing onto the can here as I'm doing this. Or the weight, whatever you might be using. Good, and we'll go for 4 more. Good. 3, 2. I'm going to keep my knee up. I'm going to do little pulses up. Good. Trying to flex through my foot. And then trying to bring my knee to hip level and extending through my hip to lift it higher. So again, not so much through the back, just through your hip. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. So keep the can exactly where it is. Both hands down on the mat. And then your left knee is going to go out to the left side and then down. And then out to the left and down. So I'm just moving from my hip, bringing it out and in. And I'll go for 4, lengthening through the crown of your head. 3, 2. The next time my knee is out, I'm going to keep it there. And I'm just going to do little circles here, or squares, or semicircles, whatever really ends up happening. And then switch directions. Good, I'm going to keep it here. Maybe lift it a little higher. And then I'm going to lower that leg all the way down. Take the can out, and just for a moment, sit your hips back, go into a child's pose. Good, and help yourself all the way up. So I'm going to keep the cans, one in each hand. And we're going to go into thigh stretch here. So your knees will be about hip distance apart. And then I'm going to start first by kind of just tucking my tailbone. So notice, put those down for a second. Notice that when I tuck my tailbone, I lengthen through the lower part of my back. So I want to keep that position. So not only do I lengthen from there, but I also lengthen through my hip flexors to let me get more of that stretch in the front of your thighs. So from here, I'm going to keep the weights down, take an inhale, and then float them all the way up. So I'm going to keep my arms reaching forward. I'm going to keep that tucked position here. And then I'm going to start hinging back from my knees. Good, now, and then I'm going to roll or hinge my way back up. And then again, I'm trying to keep that tucked position so I feel a length in the front of my thighs. And then I'm going to come all the way up. So play with your breath here. Maybe exhale as you go back. And then inhale as you come up. Good, we'll go for 4 more. Good. 3 more. Good, 2. And the last one. And I'm going to come all the way up. Great. So from here, I'm going to place one can down, and then I'm going to step one leg in front of the other, either side. So I'm going to try to have my hips be level. So what's going to happen, where the body sometimes does, is the leg that's forward, that hip might kind of hike up a little bit or kind of translate forward. Try to draw it back and then leveled with your hip that you're on that knee. I'm going to reach my arms forward, and I'm holding onto the garbanzo beans with both hands here. And then I'm going to try and stay balanced. So with this back leg, you could bring your foot in this direction, or you could rest it down. Maybe do whatever you feel more of a stretch with. So maybe I'll bring it up to the ball of my foot. And then from here, whatever arm is moving, that's the arm that I'm going to try and keep the garbanzo beans in. So I'm gonna reach both arms out, stay looking at my left arm, doesn't matter which side you start with, and then reach forward. Then I'm gonna exchange it to the other side, reach out, and forward. And I'm gonna keep alternating here. So just kind of working my balance at the same time as I'm working with rotation. Good, and one more to the right. Good, I'm gonna come back forward, and then we'll rest. So I'm gonna switch to the other side. Bringing your opposite leg forward. And then, again, I'm gonna kind of orient my pelvis and my hips. I'm gonna bring the garbanzo beans forward. I'm gonna keep it in one arm as I rotate, and then come back forward. And actually, I just did that wrong. So you're gonna say you're moving, or the arm that has the weight in your hand the whole time. Good, and again, this side might feel different. I have a little more trouble balancing here for some reason. And then I'm gonna do one more each way. And to the left. And I'm gonna lower myself down. From here, go ahead and come all the way down onto your stomach, and then allow the cans to be in reach. I'm gonna reach the cans forward and just leave them there for now. And then bring my hands underneath my shoulders, press the front of my hips, or press your pubic bone down into the mat. I'm just gonna warm up my spine into some extension here. So I'm gonna try to lift up from my breastbone and lower down. And I like to inhale as I lift up and exhale as I lower down. From here, I'm going to grab onto the cans with both my hands. I'm going to have my palms face down, so I'm holding the cans down towards the floor. And then I'm going to reach my right arm up, my left leg up, and lower. And then my left arm up with the can, right leg up, and lower. Now if this doesn't feel comfortable with the cans, maybe try it without the cans. Definitely harder when you're further away, or when your legs are, or your arms are overhead like this. Good, and then we can go right into swimming from here. So maybe float all limbs up, and then start alternating here. For 3, 2, and 1, lower down. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and come all the way up to standing. Grab your hands with you. And then allow your feet to just be about hip distance apart. And then take an inhale here. And then on your exhale, curl your chin towards your chest, and I'll turn to my side. And slowly start rounding down. And then just allowing your arms to hang. So it might feel kind of nice, having some weight in your arms as you're going down to your forward fold here. And then I can just kind of let gravity do a couple circles with my arms. And then I can let gravity do some circles in the other direction. And then I'll just keep my arms long. And take one more inhale. And then on my exhale, I'm just going to slowly start stacking my spine, keeping weight through the balls of my feet, coming all the way up. Roll my shoulders back. And we finished. So I hope you guys enjoyed that workout. Utilizing cans, again, you can kind of use whatever you have in your house. Be careful if you're putting some weight through it. The cans tend to be pretty durable. But I hope you could use this. Have a great rest of your day.